I'm Steve Ahern, and we all love to travel. I know I love to travel. I've been doing it my whole life, and now with my wife, we do a lot of traveling. Over the years, we've seen several things. My wife actually broke her foot when we were in Rome and ended up walking around on it for the entire week and a half, knowing that something was wrong, but not wanting to get involved with the local medical care out of nerves, really. So I've got about four things I'd like to just mention to you. First of all, medical care. Most medical insurance doesn't cover you overseas. So it's a good idea to take a look at solutions like Blue Cross Blue Shield Global Solutions, and they can offer you a medical coverage that's designed for care outside the US. The second thing I'd say is, if you get injured overseas, you may not want to be treated there. How are you going to get home? How are you going to get to the doctors you prefer or the hospital you prefer? You can buy something called emergency evacuation coverage. There's a company called MedJet, which is a resource for this. You can get a MedJet membership, which is reasonably costs. But if you're more than 150 miles away from home, up in Maine, down in Florida, out on the West Coast, or overseas, you can then get medical transport planning and medical transport from wherever you are to your hospital of choice. And it's really a wise thing to have that, especially for the reasonable cost that it is. The other thing I'll mention is trip cost. You spend a lot of money on these trips. You want to protect that investment. And while you're traveling, if they lose your luggage or if they interrupt your travel for, who knows, something like COVID, we all remember when that occurred, a lot of things can happen. And you want to make sure you've got some coverage. One of the things you might look at is Insure My Trip, which is an option that you can use to provide some trip cancellation insurance, some interruption insurance, some delays, insurance against delays, and baggage loss. We actually had that happen to us when we were in Rome. They also lost our luggage for the entire week. So every morning we had to wake up and go shopping for new clothes. But it was all covered by the travel insurance that we had. Insure My Trip can also look at medical and evacuation options as well. So definitely something to check out if you're planning on traveling for any distance. And finally, I'll mention if you are traveling internationally, it's important for you to keep an eye on what's happening geopolitically. And there's a program called Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, the STEP program, and you can sign up for this. You put in where you're going, and they'll send you notifications and alerts to let you know what's happening, where the nearest U.S. embassy or consulate is. That way, you'll be able to just be more comfortable that you have an option where you are to get some assistance, and you'll know how to get that assistance. So again, proper prior planning prevents problems. So I would highly recommend taking a few minutes, looking at these different options and finding something that fits for you so that your travel is a lot more relaxing, which is the whole point. Relax and enjoy. Yeah. Thanks.